Greetings, what is up, and a very warm welcome to the channel. The sun is hiding and the magpie is casting. Coming to you guys presently with a live 1 versus 1 battle, fresh from the top of the Company of Heroes 2 ladder, featuring Spawning in the South, playing as the Vermac Pieces. It's going to be Golden Cobra in a return to the channel. And Spawning in the North, playing as the USSR forces, it's going to be Nausicaa. Who I have not had the pleasure of casting before, but he's playing as Soviet, so hey, already enthusiastic about this guy. Looks like Golden Cobra going to go ahead and choose the Mechanized Assault Doctrine, and we've even got Assault Grenadiers moving out onto the field, so huzzah, something of a left field build here already in the early stages of this game. Crossing in the Woods here will provide the setting for this clash between these two fine players, and as they move out to make their initial land grabs and get this game underway in earnest, I will take a quick moment to, I don't know, just talk about what's been going on with Magpie recently. Obviously, I've not been uploading too many videos because I've been very busy. The nature of my work is sort of pretty unpredictable. Sometimes I'm really busy in a week, and sometimes I am not. It sort of ebbs and flows, and it has been a rather busy recently. Something about the run up to Christmas. Everybody suddenly needs a lot of help and a lot of my attention, I suppose. So I've been busy doing that, which has been it's been fine actually. I've taken on quite a lot more responsibility at work, which is it's actually quite refreshing to be busy and engaged, which I have been missing recently at my work. So that's really nice. And aside from that, I have also been doing something of a rebuild on my PC. Now, she's put in a lot of years of fantastic work. This is a beast of a PC. I mean, I don't like to brag, but I mean, she was, when I first bought her, like an absolute monstrosity. Now she's merely an absolute monster. So I was thinking perhaps the time had come to give her some upgrades. So I've bought some new components, and I've had her busted out on the kitchen table for the last couple of days, just installing some new stuff. So not everything has arrived yet, but we've made some upgrades already. And crucially, the new video card hasn't yet arrived, so that's like the bit that I'm excited about the most. Because I have a massive 4K screen now all of a sudden. Hooray! That's pretty exciting for me. I also have a sweet video capture card as well. What this means is that I now have a setup in my living room where I have just a huge 4K screen and a space for my PC, which I'm building like a little rack for my PC, so that I can then stream whatever it is that I'm playing, whether it's on my Switch, my PS4, on my PC. So that's kind of pretty exciting for me. It's not something I've done before. I imagine what I'll be doing with that setup is much more just kind of streaming on Twitch casually, rather than building like YouTube content and like packaging it into episodes like I do with these casts. Not that these casts are going to stop, just it's going to be a different thing. So yeah, that's like pretty exciting. That's coming together. It'll probably be, I don't know how long it'll be before it's ready, to be honest. Like streaming from the PS4 and the Switch is actually pretty easy and won't require any additional hardware. But actually, you know what? Neither will some of the other games I play. So maybe it'll be ready sooner than I thought, to be honest. Anyway, yeah. So I guess those are the things that I've been doing this last week or so. Not that casting has ever been far from my mind. Indeed, I really do miss like firing up the mic and getting into the casting mindset on a daily basis. It's just, it's like, you know how some people have a cup of coffee in the morning and that's like what sets them up and then it sort of levels them for the day? I find that I need to do something like, coffee's not for me, but I need to do something like super engaging, like as the first thing I do in the day. So often in my life, what I've done is play some sort of competitive game. Like time was, I used to play Company of Heroes 2. I used to get up, make a cup of tea, and then sit and play 2 games of competitive Company of Heroes 2, and then get on with my day. And what I found is that I would get to work, and everybody else would be like, "Oh my god, it's the morning. Oh, I'm so not awake yet." And I'd just be like, on it, like absolutely on it, and I'll thrash out my work with a couple of hours to spare, and then go home early. That's like my ideal working plan. So even if it's not like Company of Heroes, then I'll like play the drums in the morning, or I'll go outside and spin some poi, or like just something to get my mind like warmed up, I suppose. And recently that's been casting for me. Getting up, having a couple of slices of toast with poached eggs, a cup of tea, and then cracking out the mic, and then casting a game of Company of Heroes 2. It's a really good mental workout, and it warms me up really nicely for the day. So I have missed it. I have missed it indeed. So I'm really hoping that once I get my new setup like in place, and hopefully, I'm hoping that the closer we get to Christmas, like the less people will need me at work. So I can do a bit more casting. Yeah, just suffice to say, it's never been far from my mind. So, okay, that's a lot of assault grenadiers. I'm just turning my attention quickly to this game to, like, track what is actually occurring. Some madness, for sure. This is, like, triple assault grenadiers, MG42. This is fine until Norsca responds by getting a Maxim. Now, presently, we are actually techless for the Soviet player, so that Maxim is actually no closer to appearing than at the start of the game. And, we've got tactical movement being done here as these assault grenadiers just going to slide into position, but they came in across negative cover. Oh, no focus fire coming down from these conscripts. For sure you should try for that squad wipe there. Norsca letting that one go, but probably likely to pick up this one. But imagine how bad this would have been if it was a double squad wipe. What? What? Oh my god, these conscripts, they need to have, like, reduced vodka rations, man. That was an easy squad wipe going, but unable to hit the mark there with their rifles. And Golden Cobra gonna get away, battered and bruised, but certainly not as badly off as he could have been. Definitely could have been 2 squad wipes on these assault grenadiers there, absolutely. But gonna sneak away with those. So yeah, let's take a look at the map here. This is an interesting map to be taking in. The Soviet player actually not gaining any resources. Oh, no, sorry. No, they are gaining resources, but they're about to be cut off. Bing, there we go. So now not gaining any resources. The Axis player also not gaining any resources, but about to connect, via this point, large swathes of the map. So a really interesting, highly mobile, very aggressive style from both players, opting to try and bring the action into their opponent's half of the map. Safe to say, of course, that the Soviets managed to take that fight, which involved most of the units from both factions, and that will always stand them in good stead. And now we're in this really awkward position, I think, for the Axis player, where we've got four squads of assault grenadiers against just a lot of conscripts, and that's tough because that forces the Wehrmacht player to be the attacker. And that means you have to walk into a lot of Soviet rifles. And okay, Ura is going to be used to kite here. Both players with access to Ura and or Sprint, so this is like a super mobile sort of game that we're seeing here. And I mean, usually based on just these rosters, I would probably favour the Soviet player, especially now that we've got the support weapon Campanile finally on the way. Because as soon as there's a Maxim in this roster, these assault grenadiers, their value just sort of plummets. It's really hard to make MP30s and a highly mobile, attacking, aggressive style of infantry, which really only does its damage at close range. It's hard to make that work when you're walking into a machine gun. So I really hope that it is going to be a Maxim out of the support weapon Campanile when that one finishes. I reckon Norsca has probably identified that that's the unit that they need, but we'll see. So yeah, probably 1 or 2 Maxims, then into a mortar, then into a Zis gun is probably going to be the optimal line here. I mean, the mortar's super optional, but I like trying to be greedy and squeezing it in to punish this kind of aggressive infantry style. No, we're just going to go straight into Zis gun. Okay, this makes no sense. I don't know what I'm seeing. There is no tech. There is no tech. I mean, usually if your opponent goes this hard into assault grenadiers, you can take a guess and just imagine that they probably... Oh, wow, those telemines. Okay. Alright, I'm not really understanding. I mean, those are some very early telemines. We are some time away from a T-70, although... I mean, if the Soviet player had had unfettered access to a decent amount of fuel, then there could be a T-70 coming up momentarily, but... I mean, Golden Cobra should be aware that they have had enough cutoff and enough field control that the Soviet player is not in a position to have the T-70. Although, I suppose if they build a Tank of Battalion Command... I mean, yeah, the T-70 is like still a good 90 seconds away at least, so I don't know. These telemines seem slightly early, to be honest. But anyway, okay, now we're having a Maxim after the Zis gun, so I guess this is a safety Zis gun as a preemptive, like, make sure I don't die to 222s, but... I mean, and Norsca has never had scouting over this area of the, like, just... I mean, it's basically impossible to scout the Wehrmacht player's base this early. You're never going to get conscripts or anything in there, and you don't have any airborne reconnaissance yet. So, I mean, that is a very safe Zis gun, and, you know, as an omnipotent observer with no fog of war, it's very easy for me to say this is a kind of a bad Zis gun. It could easily have come out after the Maxim, but not going to be substantially punished for it, and... You know, opting to play things safe is fine. Going to use the Zis gun on barrage mode to take out those telemines. Yeah, not going to be whoa, there are more mines here as well. We've got telemines next to the Soviet mines here. This is a risky scenario here. Any infantry setting off those Soviet mines is going to get decimated by the AT mines going off thereafter, I think. But yeah, not going to be substantially punished because there's been no big fight taken. So the window of time where the Zis gun is on the field but the Maxim is not has basically closed. The Maxim is now out on the field. And things are looking fine here for both players, kinda. Although I do worry for Golden Cabra's composition here. Like, still no tech. And, like, Assault Grenadiers, their value just falls off so sharply. I really worry about the longevity of these Wehrmacht forces in this game. Gonna get a nice flank on this Maxim. That's kind of nice. Conscript's gonna come in here to try and contain the situation. And a decent amount of field control going the Axis player's way this game. Having a decent amount of fuel access with a decent resource differential beginning to open up. Scoreline kind of, I mean, there's a slight differential, but it's nothing really to get excited about just yet. So this has been okay for the Axis player. I think we really need to start diversifying and building some tech, though. And wow, it's going to be straight into support armor core. I had not tagged that Battle Phase 2 had come up. Wow, that's kind of amazing. So there we go. The mines are going to trigger on these Assault Grenadiers. They get utterly massacred. They're going to have to fall back. That's fine, though. This is just, yeah, this is the problem, man. Once the Soviet player gets up to, like, some conscripts with veterancy and a Maxim, like, what do your Assault Grenadiers really achieve, you know? It's so hard to get value out of them now. So, support armor core is built, so this pretty much has to be a Panzer IV, right? Yeah, okay. I mean, it's either Panzer IV or Ostwind. You're unlikely to build a Stug at this point. So, okay, if we build a Panzer IV and then we back it up with Stug E's, then I kind of like it, because the Stug E's mean that the conscripts and the Maxim can't just sit back and wait for your Assault Grenadiers to come into them. The Stug E's will shell them down, and then your Assault Grenadiers can come forward. And I don't know, I'm beginning to see a composition that works here. I'm still a bit concerned for Cobra, but this is a rapid Panzer IV. Very rapid, of course, because they've been able to skip building Infantry Company and Leichte Mechanized Company, so there's some fuel savings there, which have enabled them to get a faster Panzer IV. So yeah, okay, this is interesting. There is a Zis gun, but that is unlikely to be enough. Has anti-tank grenade research package finished? It has. Okay, great, we're fine. So with 80 grenades, 4 squads of conscripts, and a Zis gun, there should be a plan for this. It's an amazing game when your T-70 comes on the queue after your opponent's Panzer IV has finished. And to be honest, I would be very tempted to cancel the T-70 when you see the Panzer IV and just go for Mechanized Campania and try to do something else, because this T-70 is just unlikely to have the best run in life here. Whoa, this Maxim's just getting cut down by Pioneers. Are we really okay with this? No, okay. MG42 here, conscripts, engineers. Whoa, these Assault Grenadiers getting a bit low here. They are going to fall back. If the focus fire from Norska is there, actually just no chance of a squad wipe there. So Panzer IV going to reveal itself in mid, and now Norska knows that they need additional AT resources, very likely. I'm loving this camo, actually. Not often we see that one. Sort of, kind of reminds me of, like, cheesy flavored crisps or something. And yeah, Axis forces grabbing a decent amount of field control right now. This is a really weird style that we're seeing out of Golden Cobra, but I mean, it's not working, you know? They haven't suffered grievous losses. Now they've got a fuel point connected, so we're back up to like 30-ish fuel income. I wouldn't hate seeing another Panzer IV just try and snowball Panzer IVs at your opponent. Telemines are out and about, although the Soviet player does have the metal detector, so is cognizant of their existence. Axis forces just tightening the noose, going to grab middle VP, pushing ever closer on. These Assault Grenadiers now up to 6 men. So that means, of course, that the squad leader upgrade is starting to be taken on them. 60 munitions gets you that veteran squad leader. Okay, now the T-70 comes in, immediately gets the squad wipe. Those Assault Grenadiers just deep behind Soviet lines. The fallback absolutely perilous, and in danger of losing another squad here. This is bad. Oh, these Grenadiers are so clustered up. This is so risky. All right, Panzer IV going to come in, though. T-70 forced to scurry. Panzer IV is going to advance. I can't see any mines here, so this is probably a dead Soviet light tank here. Conscripts are going to try and possibly come in for the AT grenade. T-70 gets behind a line of sight blocker and will sneak away. Oh, T-70 is like the most frustrating units, I swear, sometimes.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
All right. Ooh, Maxim has to be careful here. Doesn't want to get caught under the arc of this MG. Panzer IV is going to transition over here into west to try and help the engagement here. But this just looks like such a small Axis army now. 35 supply under 63. Zisgun actually finds itself to double Zisgun now. Oh, absolutely. I didn't spot the second Zisgun before it even came out, but oh my goodness, could this Panzer IV be destroyed here? Okay, that was close. Okay, yeah, double Zisgun is like hardcore Soviet AT. I think you need Stuggies now, buddy. Right. Yeah, I mean, another Panzer IV is just... I don't think it's going to cut the mustard. I think it's time to start spamming Stuggies, maybe. And you need more infantry as well. Like, it's time to start probably going into just Grenadiers, but you don't have an infantry company, so... Or a light mechanized company. So, Panzer Grenadiers? I feel like they're not really the answer either, because they're very expensive. You just need boots on ground. Maybe just Pioneers, actually. Pioneers would probably be fine. And double Zisgun barrage here, going to shove away the MG, leaving a cratered hellscape. Panzer IV is going to be the choice. Okay, I mean, I don't hate this, but I just feel like the Soviet player is more or less... Like, the window where Panzer IVs are like a game-ending threat has like definitely closed because of this double Zisgun, and I think it's just going to be so hard to make double Panzer IV work here, but we'll see. These Grenadiers just escaping a ridiculous hailstorm of fire here. The T-70 way overextending though. I know he wanted the squad wipe, but this is quite the overextension. Now we've got a Panzer IV in your face, and... Are we going to sneak away? Wow, we're going to sneak away. I guess the Panzer IV knows that it can't chase into the double Zisgun. And the second Panzer IV was just not quite out in time. Okay, alright. So what are we going to do? What are we going to do here, Golden Cobra? The scoreline's still basically even. I mean, more or less even. Conscripts getting a lot of DACA, but they're going to escape. I don't know, this seems like of such a brittle composition, as is often the way. Wehrmacht's just always, or very often, forced into super brittle compositions. I would love to see another Maxim here for Norska. Norska also still yet to choose a commander. We've got shock rifle frontline tactics, Soviet airborne, and who's this guy? Mechanized support with the ISU-152. Yeah, I mean, any of these are going to be good, but I like waiting. Waiting seems smart right now for Norska. You haven't been priced into needing the early game buffs from airborne. You don't really need the shock value of, well, shock rifle frontline. Like, you don't need the KV-8. Everything's under control right now. So you're free to leave your commander selection open for a potential IS-2 late game. Or a... What? Look at these guys sprinting like that. That's like sliding in there. Yeah, so you're free to select or opt what late game you want. IS-2 late game or ISU-152 late game. Depending on how the game plays out and depending on how your resources line up. So I like that a lot. Assault grenade package going to come down here, getting some damage onto this Zisgun, but unable to really threaten the gun crew. And the Zisguns are going to pick up and get out of here. I mean, this is such hard work, just trying to come in here, burning tons of munitions on sprint and grenade packages, only to be easily repulsed by just copious amounts of Soviet rifles and a T-70. And now the Panzer IV comes on in here. Zisguns are just in position still because they weren't actually broken by the assault of the Assault Grenadiers. And now this Panzer IV is going to be forced to skedaddle. The other Panzer IV is over here out in the east, but it's not really achieving a lot. I mean, it's really just supporting those infantry there, but there's not a lot to support them against. So I suppose the one thing that has been going Golden Cobra's way, despite all my concerns about their composition, is the fuel control has been decent. Like, the Soviet boots just now getting onto a fuel point. So that's good. Maybe mechanized assault group is what we need to get some. I don't know. I just don't know how you get out of this really awkward composition without building an infantry company. You know what? Infantry companies are cheap. I think just build one, man. Just build one. Get some grenadiers with LMG-42s out there. But even that is not great because, I don't know, this is a tough place to be for Golden Cobra. But this is a style that they've opted to choose. I have faith that they know where to take this style, and they're definitely still in the game. They've only lost really one squad, so whatever the plan for Golden Cobra was, we're basically still on target for it. So let's see what Golden Cobra elects to do. Stacking a lot of manpower, stacking plentiful amounts of fuel. I would love to see a Stug E right now. I think that would be pretty cool. But this Soviet army is definitely a bit musclier. I mean, as long as nothing catastrophic happens to these Zis guns, it's going to be very hard for Golden Cobra to get much done. But I mean, having said that, it's getting a lot done already. Look at this field. It's mostly blue. T-70 just going to feed on in here. Takes a shell from one of the Panzer IVs. The other one, no doubt, scurrying in here. But we'll be too late to get a piece of that T-70. 2 stars on the T-70 now, so scout mode is going to be present and correct for massive additional value on that unit. Okay, this is what I mean. So this is just what? That is a mistake. Clearly accidentally sending in this Zis gun, thinking it was a conscript. Now this is problems for the Soviet player. You've just donated a Zis gun to an Axis opponent who desperately did want an anti-tank gun. And that was a blunder there from Norska. The first we've seen this game so far, Norska basically being tight. But oh, now the T-70 caught out 2 Panzer IVs here. Looking for shots. Final shot comes in, and that will be a dead T-70. So those tables, they are returning pretty rapidly here. T-34 on the queue. I don't like that. Loses the other Zis gun as well. Yikes. Everything just suddenly fell apart in a heartbeat here. If we lose any of these conscript squads on the way back, then things are starting to look really dark for Norska. But able to get out of there with the conscript squad. So I don't know what I think of this T-34. This sort of reeks of desperation a little bit. I think you had the fuel. You basically should have just saved up a little bit longer for an Su-85. Your opponent's gone deep into into Axis medium armor. Su-85 is a really good investment because it gets so much more powerful the longer the game goes on. How is this T-34 really going to get anything done with 2 Panzer IVs on the field? I mean, go for an Su-85. I can't... Like, this just looks like the ideal situation for buying an Su-85. They're so good against Panzer IVs. And if your opponent doesn't have Panzer IVs, this army is awful. Like, there's no meat to this army. Conscripts here just flailing in, trying to get additional AT grenades onto this Panzer IV. I mean, that's nice, but it's not really achieving that much. I guess you've got the munitions to burn, though, if you're Norska. Alright, here comes the T-34, though, so maybe we're just trying to set this up. Are we not going to pursue? We're not going to pursue? We've invested all these anti-tank grenades and then we're not going to overrun and try and get the kill? When you know that your opponent has, like, double engine damage on both their Panzer IVs? I'm not sure what I make of these decisions from Norska. Arrgh, assault grenade package coming through here. That'll be a Maxim gun donated. No! Wow, Golden Cobra just falling that unit back. I suppose T-34s are scary. Well, the Panzer IVs are going to be repaired here momentarily, and then we're going to have a difficult situation for Norska. Crucially, though, the Soviet player has managed to cobble together 2 Zis guns and a T-34, so these Panzer IVs will not have free reign of the field unless this T-34 overextends. But it doesn't look like Norska is going to do that. Yeah, this is a really awkward situation now for Norska, who just has not had very good fuel income this whole game. Still double fuel here means that we're going to have a Tiger on the field. I think that this T-34 had to be an Su-85. I mean, you have to recognise that your opponent has had the lion's share of fuel income this game. There's already 2 brilliant targets for an Su-85 on the field. I mean, if this had been an Su-85 that was being used in a guarded way around here, just taking shots for value against Panzer IVs, not really trying to get any kills, just keeping the Panzer IVs back, restricting their efficiency, and gaining veterancy onto the Su-85. That means by the time this Tiger tank comes out, you probably already have a 1-star Su-85. And once that Su-85 gets to 2 and 3-star, that Tiger tank actually doesn't look too smart. So, like, I think I just prefer that position. Whereas now, the Tiger tank is going to come out and just, with 2 Panzer IVs in support, like, when you have that superior of an armor advantage, then all of this assault infantry actually starts looking really great, because your panzers can just roll in, smash aside the Maxim, throw this whole line into disarray, and then your assault infantry run in, and like that then is a mandatory fallback for all Soviet units, and I mean that's pretty bad. So okay, I mean the Tiger tank is here now. So this is a rough situation. Norska goes ahead and chooses commander. It is going to be the shock rifle frontline tactics. Is that right? Yeah. So it's going to be an attempt for an IS-2 late game here, which we're not a million miles away from. And IS-2 plus double Zis gun is fine against Tiger, but Tiger with 2 Panzer IVs, I don't know, it still feels like it's probably not enough. Zis gun barraging Zis gun here. Such is war.
The enemy is encroaching on our territory.
And now, I mean, how are we ever going to get 230 fuel here for the Soviet player? It's going to be a long time. You know, I did not. I actually thought the IS-2 was a tiny bit cheaper than the Panzer. Sorry, than the Tiger. So I am learning even now. Yeah, they are the exact same cost. There we go. So a super dicey situation. We've got a moment of quiet here, so let's crack the tack and investigate. Okay, so I mean, I feel like the Axis player has all the power and all the control in this dynamic. The Panzers are maneuverable and the most powerful things on the field by a long way. The Soviet player has only the T-34 and the 2 Zis guns really as relevant units against those. Now, if the Axis player had a conventional infantry roster, this game would probably be over already. If these Grenadiers here were actually just Grenadiers with LMG-42s, I feel like there's just no way Golden Cobra could be in the game. But as it is, yeah, you see these Grenadiers are just not very good against just Soviet stuff. So unless the Panzers make a move, then these Assault Grenadiers are basically always going to be irrelevant. So we kind of need to look for the Panzers to make a move, really. And I do think that the Wehrmacht player should try and make a move, because I don't really like trying to slow kill the Soviet player, because then you open the door to the Soviet player getting their heavy unit of choice, and you open the door to the Soviet player just assembling that super late game Soviet composition, which is really good. So I think I like trying to win the game when you have this advantage. Getting the Tiger tanks substantially duffed up here though. A couple of Zis guns and the T-34 getting numerous penetrating hits on the big cat. That will force it back. The Panzer IVs just kind of not really active during that phase of play. Whoa, this Panzer IV going to come in here, going to immediately have its engine busted. That's frustrating. Zis gun here to take advantage. Norska putting together a really nice battle here, just kind of stalling out the Axis advantage and making the Axis player pay for these relatively uncoordinated Panzer moves here. Assault Grenadiers here are going to get in and destroy that one Zis gun, so that's pretty big. And even the MG42... What? Oh. Okay, I hadn't realized. Well, okay, I mean, Norska is going to go ahead and... Norska's going to go ahead and concede at this point. I think that's slightly hasty. I mean, yeah, things look really bad because you've got 35 supply under 79. This looks like a tiny roster up here, but I mean, we're two meters away from being able to recrew a Zis gun. Okay, these guys are falling back actually, but I mean, maybe it's worse than I think because, well, I mean, you're floating 870 manpower for God's sake. You can just buy more Zis guns. I don't know. Wow, that seems like a strangely timed concession there, especially when you even have the lead on the victory point. So you genuinely do have time on your side. Even though there's an MG covering this Zis gun, I think it's still recoverable for sure. You can buy additional Zis guns. I mean, you could buy an Su-85 for this money, and then suddenly the game just looks different. So, I don't know, bit of a weird concession there, if I'm honest. Yeah, things don't look great, but I don't think this game's over. And I think Norska, on the whole, a couple of mistakes for sure, but playing quite well this game. And I don't know. I think the big mistakes for me were donating that Zis gun and getting the T-70 killed the way it was here in mid. But the biggest mistake for me was choosing a T-34 when you were seconds away from having the fuel for an Su-85 against an opponent who already had 2 Panzer IVs and is moving into a Tiger late game. It's like the Su-85 is the perfect insurance plan for that sort of scenario. It's just good. If you have an Su-85 there instead of a T-34, then the game becomes if you can keep that Su-85 alive, for the Soviet player, you basically can't lose. It's very hard for the Axis player to crush you as long as that Su-85 is alive and firing. So, and then you just support it with your infantry, support it with your Zis guns, keep taking shots, keep vetting it up, keep limiting the effectiveness of your opponent's armor, and I don't know, things get really rough then. So let's see what else we got out here. We got Charlie Tango against a smiley face here. Well, everybody's playing Wehrmacht against Soviets. So, all right, well, let's jump in and watch a game between two players who I do not know. Going to be our second game of the day here. Yeah, I mean, it seems like there's just been a massive resurgence of Soviet versus Wehrmacht stuff. Look at this colourful name faceplate we got here. A war paint contributor. Tips hat to you, sir. So yeah, it looks like Charlie Tango going to be rocking here with the NK, the shock rifle frontline geezer, guard motor coordination geezer, and the like Soviet armor tactics or whatever it's called, armored assault tactics. That's the guy. Yeah, this is a fine roster of Soviet commanders. They look really good. So let's see now. Spawning in the south, playing as the Wehrmacht forces. It's going to be Smiley. And playing in the south as the Soviet forces, it's going to be Charlie Tango. On Crossroads. So this game likely to be slightly more intense, slightly more bloody. Crossroad, just the way the bases are pretty damn close and units just kind of feed out of the bases into each other in a much more natural way. There's a little bit less room for maneuvering, it feels like, than Crossroad, which is saying something because Crossroad is still Crossing in the Wood, I should say, which is saying something because Crossing in the Wood is one of the smaller maps in the game as well. So looks like we're going to see a more conventional opening here. Wow! I've not seen this commander used for some time. Okay, I can't even remember his name. It's Fortified Armor Doctrine. Okay. Alright, well, let's take a look here. I need to refresh myself on this one. Panzer Tactician, great ability, love it. Reconnaissance Overflight, great ability, love it. Hull Down, secretly one of my favorite things to do in the game. It's awesome. Basically, all of your core infantry can hull down your tanks, which kind of like builds them into a bunker. And the nice thing is, although it takes a moment to hull them down, like the dudes have to like build a sandbag animation, you can just click exit the hull down, and that tank can just bust out. Like the sandbags just go like boom, and the tank just like rolls out of the hull down position. And the tank in hull down is like genuinely nails. Like it's very, very tough. So I really like hull down. The other commander, I can't remember his name. It's like he's got some glasses, like little round glasses. There's another commander who gets hull down. He also gets like Panzer Attack, but he gets like the Pak 43. And that used to be one of my favorite commanders when the game was like relatively new, because hull down was just so great, and I found that actually most players just didn't really understand how to deal with hull down, and I would just use Stugs and hull down, and it was fantastic times. So then we've also got the Panzer Command tank, and of course the Elephant Tank Destroyer, which like we basically never see, but it is of course very good against armor. That is really all you can say about it, because it is all it does. So yeah, an interesting commander, very rarely seen. I'm excited to see what the plan is here for Smiley, who has absolutely no concern for adapting to what their opponent is doing, absolutely no concern for waiting until this is an appropriate commander to pick. Going to pick it right away, even though it doesn't even do anything until 2 command points. So this is the plan. This is what Smiley feels comfortable doing. This is what Smiley wants to do. And I want to see what they're going to make happen with this commander. Charlie Tango, though, running with a fine roster of commanders here. I'm going to make a choice when they feel comfortable doing so later on in this game. And that's fine, of course. So 3 squads of conscripts going to be going up against double MG42, double Pioneer. Is this a techless Wehrmacht opening? It is. I don't even know what I'm watching anymore. Like, normally you don't go techless Wehrmacht unless you've also got a commander who brings something in the early game, like Strippen Reserves or Mobile Assault Doctrine, but that is not what we're seeing. This is going to be an opening where we are using Pioneers and MG42s only, unless we're going to see an infantry company put down here momentarily. We are losing a sector. Just interesting stuff. This is not Company of Heroes 2 as I know it. We are in uncharted territory here. Alright, so it's going to be straight to like the Mechanized Company here. Going to be going for the Rapid Escalates Battle Phase 1. So I imagine this is going to be a sort of heavily 222 based opening, I would imagine, to get some value out of the Panzer Attack ability. Whoa, hang on now. Sorry, I've just noticed we've got a Special Rifle Company opening, or Special Rifle Command opening, and we're going to have a Soviet Sniper on the scene here momentarily. Okay. Wow, it's like left field Friday out here. Just everybody's doing stuff, doing things, random builds, crazy stuff. Some real special snowflake stuff coming out here. And I am all about it. What? Okay, I am interested. It's going to be an early 251 half track. So is this going to be for flame projectors? This matches up very well against the marksman. I feel like it has to be for flame projectors, because if you don't have an infantry company, you don't really have grenadiers to reinforce. And like, reinforcing MG42s and pioneers is okay, but it's not the same. So, okay, here comes the sniper. Gonna be rolling on in here.
We have a fresh half-track at our disposal. Our opponents are seizing a sector.
Okay, here comes the half track. Flame projectors comes down immediately, so yep, it's gonna be for flame projectors. So this is flame projectors with Panzer attack. That's pretty cool. And there's like no Zis gun, and there's not gonna be a Zis gun anytime soon because we don't have the infantry company. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, this is like the ideal opening for a flame projector half-track, going up against a Soviet opponent who just doesn't have access to the Zis gun. Anti-vehicle grenade package is on its way in a timely manner, and that will be the saving grace of Charlie Tango here. God, what an interesting opening. No kills on this Soviet marksman so far. Here comes the... Okay, so now we've got infantry company has been back-teched. Loving the build here from Smiley. So, okay, infantry company has been back-teched. Double grenadier on the queue now. MG42 holding strong. Flame projector half-track going to reveal itself now.
We have a fresh grenadier squad.
Conscript's going to come up here and grab the cutoff heroically. That is cutting off a munitions, a fuel, and, what, 3 regular capture points. So that is massive and heroic work being achieved by those conscripts there. What an interesting game we have on our hands already.
The new grenadier squad is
And
ready.
using this flame half-track very responsibly, because, I mean, just as well, because there are mines here, there are mines everywhere. So this flame half-track, so far being used in quite a restrained manner, and that's pretty good, you have to feel. Otherwise, bad things could happen to it. So are we going to see infantry company now? Seemingly not. I feel like you have to build the infantry company, or do you just go for a T-70? Because that is also quite good against the flame half-track. Decisions.
Capturing supply sector.
But look how much momentum this has given the Axis player. Like, just pushing on all areas of the map and has beaten the Soviet army in basically every fight. I love this roster in the top left a lot more than I like this roster in the top right. Going for a marksman is so risky. Okay, the mines strike the flame half-track, and that's risky. Ura comes down, looking for the AT grenade. Panzer attack is used as a counter here, but the animation has started. Whoop, there's the grenade. Oh, and that's going to destroy the flame half-track, so, okay. Alright, that's a pretty big swing there. That is massive. Able to cobble together a kill off of mines and the the AT grenade there is huge for the Soviet player. Now this marksman is starting to punish, and without the flame half-track on the field, this marksman looks a lot better. Like, this is fine now. Oh, it's getting a tiny bit cold in here, so I'm just going to put my hoodie on. Yeah, that's some very interesting opening to this game for sure. Really glad we caught this one. That's just, yep, spicy stuff. All right. So now infantry company's here, and we're up to 3 squads of grenadiers. So this is now basically looking like a fairly regular style here out of Smiley. I like the attempt with the flame projector half-track and the Panzer attack. That was pretty cool, but it didn't really pay off. And now, how many kills are we up to now? 4 kills on the scout sniper. And of course the scout sniper is just a really useful counter against machine gun teams. We can see here, busting Axis skulls. And now we've got a pack gun coming onto the queue. Just as well, because the Tank of the Battalion command has finished. And I imagine we'll see a T-70 on the queue. Well, we've got the fuel just now, so probably going to be a T-70 on the queue here momentarily. There it is. Wow. Okay, so I feel like there's a relatively quiet moment in this game here, whilst whilst both of these players don't really have any super scary units. So this is just going to be conventional bullet exchanges going on for a while here. T-70 will be on the field here momentarily. And suddenly, now the Soviet player has some pushing power. Going to go for the shock rifle frontline tactics as well. Going to add in the much feared shock troops coming in now. So that's going to give Charlie Tango a lot more momentum and dynamism. Dynamism? Is that a word? I think so. In this game here. Scout Sniper up to 9 kills. So the T-70 gets welcomed by double Faust. Where's the Pat gun? Okay, it's about to get into range. Oh, this is like the worst T-70 I've ever seen. That'll just be dead then. Wow. Okay. Okay, so that is how not to T-70, I suppose. That's a shame for Charlie Tango, who was putting together a pretty cool game up to that point. And now the Scout Sniper gets caught out. Ooh. Okay, the fallback comes down just in the nick of time. Has medics finished? Medics have finished, so that's really important, obviously, when you have a Scout Sniper. Being able to heal the health on that unit is crucial. And I feel like this game is actually going to... We're definitely going to see a mid-game. I mean, nobody's going to die in the near future. Like, these players just don't really have the resources to kill one another anytime soon, assuming nobody makes a massive blunder. So I feel like both players are basically free to plan out what their medium armor choices will be, if any. Let's just check the tech here for the Axis player. No sign of Battle Phase 2 just yet. One has to assume that this is going to be some kind of Panzer IV game, whether it's a Command Panzer IV or a regular Panzer IV, so I feel like we have to see support armor core. And then... Oh, LMG-42 here. Yep. Gonna get a kill, and then there's a Rox flamethrower. That's gonna be donated here. So a nice little exchange there for Smiley. Charlie Tango's roster looking pretty taxed right now. Not a lot of meat on these Soviet bones. Hoorah going to be used here to try and get around this MG42, and that will force the Axis MG back. That basically means that the east of this map will be turning red momentarily. This Soviet marksman is looking pretty cool right now. 13 kills now. Oh, there's a chance for squad wipe here. Oh, but the marksman going to miss that crucial shot. So, okay, Smiley getting a bit lucky. Charlie Tango getting a bit unlucky, depending on how you want to look at that. S-minefield established here. MG42 going to defend the west for now. A really interesting and relatively even game that we have on our hands here right now. These shock troops have been doing work in this position, though. Just like the sound of PPSHs thundering away has been a constant feature over the last minute or so of play. Nearly a star of veterancy on this troop already, which is pretty cool when you remember how expensive they are. 14 kills and counting. I love snipers. And let's take a look at the scoreline here. Yeah, nothing to write home about. Pretty stable scoreline. So yeah, we are set for a fairly long game here, I reckon. I mean, we're like 13 minutes in and neither player has sustained like more than 70 ticket loss. So that usually means that we're going to have a slightly long game. Incendiary artillery here, just going to be used to get a triple fallback, buy some more time, during which the Soviet player is dominating the map. And this is fine. Soviet player is stacking a reasonable amount of munitions there. It costs, what, 120 for the artillery incendiary barrage. That's not how you say that. For the incendiary artillery barrage. The enemy
has cut off a sector.
So let's have a look here. Okay, yeah, so support armor core is on its way now, and that probably means we're going to see a command Panzer IV here momentarily. I mean, we've got the money for a regular Panzer IV as well, but I feel like since your opponent doesn't have any armored units, the command Panzer IV is going to be more beneficial. It's a lot cheaper. What is it, 100 fuel? Yeah, so good. It's cheaper, and it will buff all of your infantry. So that's pretty cool. I like that a lot. Why is this MG42 falling back? What did I miss? Okay. Oh, I see the sniper was thundering in there. That's why. Oh, now we're going to see Penal Battalion mixed in. Sure, I like it. That's pretty cool, actually. Yep, just going to be diversifying the roster by adding in some Penal Battalion. I like that a lot. That's a really sweet choice. Panzer IV, and it's going to be a regular Panzer IV going to be coming out first. Okay, that's fine. Going for the more aggressively oriented regular Panzer IV choice over the more support-oriented Command Panzer IV choice. Yeah, that MG42 is still here. Who knew? I think I'd quite like to see a mortar. Do we have an infantry company? We don't. Okay, fair enough. I mean, a support weapon company, not an infantry company. All right, well, we still don't have that, so no chance of Zis guns, no chance of Maxims, and no chance of mortars. I would not hate to see a mortar right now. This is one of those maps where a mortar, like, because the map is so small, a mortar is basically continuously firing, basically as long as you have it, like, anywhere along this line here for the Soviet player. And you can really, I feel like you've already got a sniper, which is taxing your opponent's manpower. A mortar, like, synergizes with that plan, whilst also heavily countering your opponent's MG teams, which have been a thorn in your side this game. But now we've got a Panzer IV, and this represents a significant problem for the Soviet player, who is, okay, alright, maybe not, building a T-34, so okay. We're going to be answering medium armor with medium armor here, and with the PTRS equipped guards, Penal Battalion, yeah, we've got all the resources we need here to deal with the Panzer IV. It's not the most robust solution, there are no Zis guns in this lineup. But it could be worse. So, yeah, this seems fine. Marksman now up to 19 kills, 2 stars of veterancy. So, improved rate of fire, that is the most important thing to be getting on your sniper. Gonna be dinking these grenadiers down pretty quick. Whoa, the penals! The penals, bro! Don't let them die! Oh my goodness, he's fearlessly remaining with these penals, just taking PTRS shots into this Panzer IV. So brave! Fall them back, sir! Fall them back, please! Okay, he gets them out of there at the last possible moment. Dear goodness. This Soviet marksman has been worth 23 Axis skulls busted. Wow. Love it. T-34 here is just going to be used to police marauding Axis infantry, get it out of the Soviet half of the map, and that's fine. Panzer IV there, pretty bruised up after that initial engage. Would love to see the pintle-mounted MG42 come down on that one. We're less than a minute's fuel saving away here from getting a Command Panzer IV to tag team up with that one. Oh, what? Heroically just going to be reversing arse first into Axis territory here. Not quite sure what I make of that, to be honest. Obviously going to get rid of the minefield, looking to shove around this MG42 that has been defending this half of the map really well. Pack gun here, though, is going to be a massive issue. T-34 needs to GTFO. Charlie Tango, are we paying attention? Panzer IV comes in. That'll be a dead T-34. That is an overextension, sir. And that T-34 was idle there for a few seconds, and it will be forfeit. You don't win these ones. Whoa, he forces the Pack 40 to... Okay, I mean, he gets a little bit more life out of that T-34 than I thought he would, but this is kind of brutal now. He's lost some conscripts over this last phase of play as well. So, I mean... This is a rough spot to be in. We still have no support weapon Campanaya, so we cannot be building Zis guns. And now, without the T-34, I mean, there's just no meaningful anti-tank in this roster. 2 PTRSs and some conscripts with AT grenades will not a Panzer IV destroy. Not unless Smiley makes some pretty radical errors. So... Another T-34 is built now, but now we're into the sort of life support T-34s that I hate. That I really, as you all know, this is one of my favourite rants, but I don't like building T-34s when you are behind. I do not like them, Sam I am. Oh, cool, we've got a little machine gun bunker popping up here. Okay, interesting. But yeah, I mean, this feels bad right now for the Soviet player. If this marksman goes down, I mean... This is such a brittle lineup here for the Soviet player who really wants to be rebuilding core infantry, but also kind of has to be saving for another T-34, because I don't think one T-34 is ever going to be enough here. I mean, I think cancel this T-34. Do the Magpie thing, man. Cancel the T-34, spend the money for now on another squad of conscripts, or another squad of penals and get them some PTRSs. In fact, I think I like that better. And then take that fuel, because like if you add the fuel from the T-34 to the fuel in the bank, then we have an Su-85. Why do people not build Su-85s? Like, I just don't know why. Because now you're going to be facing off against 2 Panzer IVs and then possibly a Panzer IV command tank, and like a T-34 is just a gift. Like, this is such a soft, squishy medium for those Panzer IVs to take down. The T-34 would make more sense if you had some Zis guns or something to back it up, but you don't, so you need the Su-85, I'm sure. Su-85s are such headaches for Axis players, particularly when they've invested heavily in mediums. And that's the scenario we see again here. And again, we're not seeing an Su-85, and I wonder if this Soviet player is going to lose this game because of it. Pat gun here finds a hit on the T-34, not the end of the world. 30 Axis skulls busted by the Soviet sniper, the one undoubtedly successful story coming out of this Soviet army.
Sector is at risk. Enemy forces are attempting.
So this is going to be a really difficult fight now. 2 Panzer IVs against just really the T-34. Not a lot else here in that like can meaningfully contribute to this tank battle. There's going to be a second T-34 coming out here momentarily. So if Charlie Tango can just survive long enough for this second T-34 to be out, then they are in with a chance. But I mean, this T-34 is gonna. You can't be losing this one. Just that was the one thing you had to keep alive, and it's gone. And it's gone. Oh man. And now again, there's just fighting with 2 T-34s. You have a chance here. Fighting with 1, you just have no chance. And now there's 1. So this investment in this like 3rd, I think it is, T-34 is kind of just not very good. It was only good if you get to have 2 medium tanks, and because you don't, oh no, you're gonna lose the penals here as well. They're beginning to fall apart here as Charlie Tango. Oh, what a sad story, because this was a really exciting opener. Now this T-34 is going to try to get something done, but that seems ill-advised here. Rotate, rotate. Nice attack ground round. That's pretty sweet.
Supply lines have been cut.
Now the Pat gun's going to close off this this exit, so you've got to be careful. Ooh, conscripts just feeding across the open here. Pull them back. They're going to die. Oh no, can't be losing conscripts here. T-34 desperately trying to do what it can, and I have to say this particular T-34 has been microed very well. Consistently being shielded from the Pat gun behind line of sight blockers, consistently hitting for damage even through line of sight blockers with attack ground rounds without taking any hits onto it. That T-34 looking fine. Still would have looked better if it was an Su-85 though.
Our territory is falling into enemy hands.
Su-76? What? Say what? Okay then. Alright. That is a unit that Soviets have access to, which Charlie Tango can afford. Not convinced, but I think I like it more than going for another T-34, so yeah, let's see what happens. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. Alright. T-34 just still contributing from behind this hedge. This is really nice work. This T-34 is going to even get itself a Star of Veterancy if it keeps this up. Where's that Pat gun? Okay, so the Pat gun has kind of retreated a little. Su-76 is here. They're pretty fast on roads, aren't they? And Charlie Tango does have a little bit of a scoreline of advantage, so that's okay. Su-76 gets a penetrating hit. First one out of the... Wow, look how much veterancy it gets for a penetrating hit on a Panzer IV. Insane. It needs, what, 3 of those to vet up the first time? Pretty cool. Soviet sniper has achieved 3 stars, 35 Axis skulls busted. Oh, in a dangerous position here. Oh my goodness me. Just continuing to harvest Axis skulls, and that's great. Look at the rate of fire on this monster now. Okay, but now you need to fall back. Panzer IVs! Panzer IVs! Okay, so how do you win this? You need to kite. Rotate your armor. Kite. Rotate your armor. Oh, really? We're just going to sit here? I don't like that. Oh, that's a dead 76. Ah! And if I sound a bit exasperated, I just see so many Soviet players throw games this way. You can't keep making mediocre fuel investments, and by that I mean Su-76s and T-34s in this case, and just feeding them to your Axis opponent, because every time you lose one, you get weaker and they get stronger. It was a bad idea 5 minutes ago, it's still a bad idea. I think Soviet players of a certain level and below just need to get better at recognizing when they're in this dynamic, when they're just building medium armor choices to stave off an inevitable defeat. Don't do that. I know it's harder to save up a little bit longer and get an Su-85, but that gives you like just so much of a better chance of like winning the game, and that is the objective. I know losing the game feels bad, and I know clicking on T-34 makes it feel like you're not going to lose the game, or you're much less likely to in the next few minutes. But I feel like clicking that T-34 button makes you so much more likely to lose the game in the end. Just so much more likely. Just build an Su-85, man. They're so good. Why? Why don't Soviet players do it? I don't even think I'm some kind of mastermind. I'm just, like... That's the Su-85's stated purpose in this game. It is a tank destroyer. And right now, what Charlie Tango wants to be doing is destroying tanks. I just... So, oh my god, we're just going up to 3 Panzer IVs? Sure. Why not? I'm kind of amazed that this game is still as even as it is, to be honest. Like, Charlie Tango actually even leading on the scoreline still. Kind of insane, given how these last phases of play have looked. Is it a fair criticism of Smiley that they could have been more aggressive? I don't know. I mean, you don't want to... Whoa! Hang on a second. When did this pack gun get donated? Sorry, I did miss that entirely. Okay, that's huge. What? Is that manned by shock? That is manned by shock troops. Ha! That is an expensive pack gun. Don't be messing with this pack gun up in close quarters, yo. Okay, well, so clearly the shock troops got up on top of the pack gun, murdered the crew in short order with their PPSHs, and then grabbed the pack gun. I love this! I love this so much, because a pack gun is better than a Zis gun, against Panzer IVs anyway. And now, okay, slightly misaligned here, that is annoying. But, oh no, now he has to re-aim it. Oh, crucially bad timing. Oh god, there we go, okay, now it's there. This is a lot of German infantry though, so the pack gun will probably go down here. Whoa, what is the rotation doing on this? What is this? Why would you face your tank that direction? I have no idea. Okay, he's going to come around for a flank. This pack gun is just doing heroic work. But I believe its time is over. He gets one of the Panzer IVs. Unbelievable. And this T-34 is just going to be pursuing arse first. Why? It's just facing the wrong way. Oh my goodness me. I actually can't believe that he appears to be winning this. Okay, if he gets this second Panzer IV, then he is a lucky Soviet. You, sir, are a lucky Soviet. This is unbelievable. Get your T-34 out of here. No! No! Oh my god. Okay, I was gonna, if Smiley loses the 3rd Panzer IV there, then there is going to be a keyboard flying out of a window somewhere in the world. Oh my god. What? I take it all back. I take it all back. Su-85s, overcosted garbage. T-34s, hard counter Panzer IVs. Especially when it's 3 against 1. I don't know anything about this game. I take it all back. Never save for Why would you save for an Su-85? T-34s do everything Su-85s can, and they massacre infantry, and they're so much cheaper. I know nothing about this game. Never build Su-85s. Just build T-34s and micro them in ways that baffle casters, and then win. It's so easy. It's so easy. Why would you ever build an Su-85? Why would you? Why would you? Why would you? Okay then. All right. Okay. 42, by the way. 43. For a moment there, that sniper had discovered the meaning of life, the universe, and everything. But he promptly forgot it and continued shooting Axis geezers. What on earth is occurring in this game? Oh my god. We're kind of close to IS-2 now as well. So, like, Charlie Tango. just never build an Su-85, bro. Don't do it. Why would you? Why would you? It's such a bad unit. It can only hurt tanks. What is the point of that? Oh my goodness me. Can we just also... This pack gun was instrumental in turning... No way that T-34 could have rebalanced this game if it didn't have a pack gun on its side. That pack gun is so huge, not only because it's an amazing anti-tank unit, which is exactly what Charlie Tango needed, but also because Charlie Tango just doesn't have a support weapon Campanier, so cannot build anti-tank gun squads, just can't do it. So having a pack gun, being able to obtain that unit into his roster has been so big in this game. And how many times do we see this, where Wehrmacht players are undone by their own hardware? Like, Wehrmacht get pretty much... I think you can definitely argue that Wehrmacht get the best and easiest access to probably some of the best weapon teams in the game. Like, I think we can all agree that that's probably true. And it's just a little bit unlucky for Wehrmacht that those very same weapon teams, like, super turbo hard counter their own units. Trying to play with 4-man grenadier squads into an MG42 is miserable. Trying to play with relatively expensive medium armor that's very good, Panzer IVs, into pack guns is miserable. And we've just seen how effective these things are. Like, a Pak 40 against Panzer IVs is just like I say, I'm just amazed that Smiley's keyboard is still on their desk being used to play this game and not descending out of their window in, like, a hail of anger. Because, I mean, that last phase of play, Smiley had such an advantage. 3 Panzer IVs to 1 T-34. And just kind of basically a chokehold on the game. And now there's an IS-2 on the field. You know, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. In a game where, like, 3 T-34s, I think 3 T-34s, had died for no gain. And, like, also, by the way, consistently, can we just mention, this is the second time this incendiary artillery has hit nothing but Soviet infantry. I didn't mention it the first time because there was more going on, but, like, this, to a certain extent, can I just revert to my Soviet fanboy state and just say, this is also kind of why I love Soviets. Sometimes you have these games, and they look like utter chaos. Like, I don't think even Charlie Tango, like, this was not the plan, was it? Like, this is never the plan. The things that we've seen happen in this game is not the plan. You don't plan for a game to go this way. And still, now Charlie Tango is just whooping ass out here. I mean, Soviets, baby. Sometimes everything goes wrong and you come out ahead, and it's marvelous. It's rare, but it happens.
Combat engineers are standing by.
Look at the IS-2, man. It's got a little machine gun on the back of the turret here, just in case. Just in case. I see you sneaky Axis geezers coming at me from behind. Not today, son. I put a machine gun on the back of my turret. All right. Okay. So now I believe we're going to see an Elephant versus IS-2 late game, and I could not be happier about that. Whatever has happened in this game, whatever choices regarding purchasing T-34s or Su-85s that I may or may not disagree with or understand in this game that have occurred, that is all in the past now. What is in the future that I have my fingers crossed for? What is it, 270 fuel? 245. Oh, we just need the manpower. Okay, then. Yeah, then now all of that is behind us. Let's not worry about whether Su-85s are good or not, because we already know they're terrible. It's going to be IS-2 versus Elephant. And, I mean, we're not there yet. The Axis player has to do the hardest thing for an Axis player in this situation, which is save manpower. And I'm not even kidding. In the late game, Wehrmacht have real manpower issues. Like, it is difficult to save up for these highly expensive manpower costing units. When you also have to be reinforcing your ridiculously brittle 4-man squads. Oh no, yeah, you see. Now he's probably going to have to reinforce these squads. Or he's not even going to get the chance to. And you know what? If he'd have built an Su-85 like an idiot earlier on this game, he probably wouldn't have got that squad wipe, because he would have been an idiot and built an Su-85. You know? This is what I'm saying, man. So, okay, well, this Panzer IV is getting brave, comes on in here, pushes back some shock troops. That's all good and well, but have you heard about the IS-2 in your base that is shooting your guys in the face? Like, that's a squad wipe. Alright. I have a feeling that a keyboard may be headed out of a window somewhere in the world. What do you do again? There is no plan for this. Okay, a pack gun shows up. Is that going to be enough, or is the IS-2 just going to one-shot it? Please one-shot it. for the Axis rage, please one-shot the Pat gun. It happens, man. IS-2s are really good. Sometimes they one-hit your stuff. He's gonna kill the medic bunker. That is not nothing. Okay, we're nearly elephant time. 20 more manpower. Okay, here comes the elephant. Bring it in. Oh, he doesn't have the... What does he not have that he needs... Oh, he doesn't have the Schwerpanzer HQ. Oh, no. Oh, I forgot that the game works this way now. Well, that's just game then. You don't come back from this. That is game. Damn. Call in the Panzer Command Tank. Do something. Do something. It's too late. It's too late. I believe Smiley's keyboard has not... Nope, no, he is microing his units. There is an Axis unit out on the map, by the way. An MG42 is holding hard over here. Gonna get hit by incendiary artillery, though. There we go. The IS-2 still just destroying this base. Okie dokie then. Alright, Smiley, I'm sorry to tell you this, buddy, but you've got like 5 units here against a proper Soviet endgame army, so I think probably just leave the game, man. Just leave the game. Just leave the game. Unless you've already left the game in a physical sense and are now in another room making yourself some tea, but it does look suspiciously like he's microing these units. I'll be honest, I'm gonna be the first to hold up my hand, okay? There have been times when I've been playing StarCraft 2, and I'm a Terran player, and for those of you who don't know, Terran players have this amazing thing where their buildings can actually lift off and become flying units and move around the map. I'm sure most of you know about this because it's like just a lot of people know about StarCraft, I guess, especially if you're watching an RTS cast. But yeah, so Terran players can lift off their buildings and fly them around. And sometimes, if you're losing the game as Terran, what you can do to really annoy your opponent is lift off your base, split all of your buildings, and just fly them to places. Like fly a building to each corner of the map, and then fly some others in places you think your opponent is not going to find them for a while. And what this does is it forces your opponent to waste some minutes of their life building anti-air units and hunting down your flying buildings. And it is essentially a massive middle finger to your opponent. It is the worst way of GGing ever. You are saying to your opponent, okay, you win this game, but I'm going to annoy you for as long as possible. And it's so easy because you lift off your buildings, right? And then you just like move them, you move them to all of the corners of the map. This operation takes maybe 20 seconds to lift them up and give them all a move command to a different place on the map. And then you can walk away and get on with your life. You can go to the kitchen, make a cup of tea, you can fire up YouTube, you can fire up Netflix, you can do what you want, whilst your opponent is still having to miserably hoover up your buildings on the map, okay? It's very rude, it's very BM, but I'm going to hold up my hand and say that I've done that. And I feel like, right now for Smiley, you need to not be at your computer. You need to be in another room of your house, or maybe even leaving your house to go and do something else, whilst your opponent is having to waste their time destroying your base. That's the only way that I feel like this is acceptable for Smiley. Yeah, that is what we're seeing here. Smiley is stubbornly refusing to GG to waste the life of Charlie Tango. And that resonates with me. I get that. As a Terran player, I understand you. I see what you're doing here, and I accept it. But... okay, I'm going to move into like forensic casting mode now because this game is essentially over. I'm going to move the camera over here because the sound of those tanks is quite deafening. So, wow. I feel like the only way to truly understand this game would be for me to go back and watch this cast and watch what happened with the fight that happened here, because that was clearly the pivotal moment of this game. We had a Soviet player who was firmly under the Axis jackboot, who had lost, I think, 3 T-34s, but it may have only been 2. I can't actually remember. And then we had a fight here where there was a Pat gun sort of facing like in this direction, like this. Yeah, GG, well played. So there was a Pat gun sort of facing, like, Pat gun was positioned here, it was facing in this direction, and we had like 2 Vet 2 Panzer IVs, or was it 3? I think it was, no, it was 2 Vet 2 Panzer IVs. I think they were both Vet 2. I seem to remember that they both had armoured skirts. And we had 1 T-34, which I believe was 2-star, I think so. And somehow we came out of that fight with both Panzer IVs burning, and the T-34 still absolutely fine, just absolutely fine. Despite the fact that it appeared to me that during that fight, the T-34 had was poorly rotated. During the initial stages of the fight, the T-34 was facing south, I believe, with its arse facing north, so the Panzer IIs were in its side armour. And then it pursued backwards over here, taking out the Panzer IVs with the help of the Pat gun. I feel like I need to watch that fight again to understand exactly how those events came to happen, because, like, I feel like we're in the 1% of timelines where Charlie Tango wins this game. Like, that was looking so bad. So bad. And I know it's a rant that you're all really, like, probably fed up of, because, like, I rant about this a lot. Well, I don't really rant about it. I just point it out a lot, and then I rant about it. And that's that I think that people need to build Su-85s at the appropriate times. And in the first game we cast today, I feel like I was on the money about that. In the second game, in this game, I still feel like I was on the money, but I was just proven ridiculously wrong. Like, sometimes with Soviets, you just kind of have this, like, oops, I win thing. Like, it's like, oops, sorry, whoops, did I win? Like, even I don't understand how that happened. Like, and it's just another reason why Soviets are definitely, undisputedly, they are my favorite faction in my heart. They're not I'm not sure they're the most powerful faction in the game, but I mean, there's got to be a bloody good argument for it, hasn't there? So there we go. There we go. Everything Magpie knew is wrong. Never build Su-85s. They are awful. Why would you pay like 45 more fuel over a T-34 for a unit that can't shoot infantry and is really slow and doesn't have a turret and doesn't have machine guns? Like, I know nothing about this game. That's what I've learned today. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Great. Well, that concludes today's video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I certainly have. I mean, if you are out there playing this game, it seems to be a mistake to click on the Axis faction. I would recommend never not playing as Soviets. That's the way. That is the way. I've found the way. Okay, cool. I'm going to have to go back and watch that fight, because like I say, I would love to talk more strategically and sort of like about this game and take it apart a bit better, but I really feel like I don't understand what I just saw, and I need to go back and watch it. So I'm going to go and do that. Yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for spending your time with me. It's been a pleasure. It's a busy weekend, but Sunday, it looks like I might have some time on Sunday to cast. So I'm going to try and crack out some Deserts of Karak on Sunday. And I will hopefully see you guys then. This for now is Magpie 842 signing out.